set up right. I'm having to jerry rig my tripod here. Give me a second. All right. Just want to go live on here. We are doing our 2026 spring cleaning. So my phone holder for my tripod just like I dropped it and just smashed. So I'm jerry rigging this situation. So anyway, just wanted to come on here and hang out. What's up, Randy? I'll get to some updates in a minute. I want to get some people on here first. Don't judge me too hard right now on my enclosures. They're blown up and they're a mess. So I got my substrate in though, and we're going to be doing a deep cleaning today. So I'm excited to kind of dive into it. But how was Tinley? Were you guys at Tinley? I know Chris was at Tinley. What's up, guys? What's up, Noah? Yeah, I've got some fun updates. So it should be good. I think I'm going to start with my Coyote female. So we'll start there. No, you're not getting fed, dude. Just chill out. There you go. Da 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 da. I love this. This is my favorite snake by far. This female right here. I don't want to jinx myself, but she's nothing but a sweetheart, or has been. You're all right. Come here, girl. I know. You want to get away. I know. All right. Come here. Come here. This stupid light that I've got in this office still, dude. People make fun of me for it, and they deserve to make fun of me for it because it's so stupid having this light. We put this in when we renovated, and it's way too short. All right. All right. Check this girl out right here. This is my prize and joy. This is Sarabi, pure Coyote. But I love this snake, man. She is the most chill snake in my collection. And watch her get all amped up because she's been breeding and all that. Here, let's go put you in the bath for a second. Put you in the bath. No, dude. All right, come here, girl. Oh, come here. You're right. I know. You don't want to. I know. Just relax, dude. All right. So we got Sarabi in the bath, pure Coyote. What's happening in the chat? What's up, chat? Tinley was fun. A few new vendors. What's up, Chris? Yeah, I'm going to try to go next year. I'm going to see if I can swing it. It's kind of a trek for me coming out from Utah. And I feel like there's people there that might not want to see me, but that's okay. No, I would love to come out. Maybe we can even bring Rodney out of retirement. Who knows? So Sarabi, I've had her since she was 2. So what is it? It's March 2026. Her birthday, I believe, is April 2020. So she's coming up on 6 years old. She, I believe, is a sibling to Nathan Hess's female as well. So I'm hoping she's gravid. I'm praying she's gravid. And actually, cool update. I had Nathan Katz from Katz Reptiles, part of the Retic Lounge group. He actually came over because I'm using his male for this pairing. And he offered to come down, which was awesome. He's about 45 minutes away. And he palpated her, and he thinks that she's probably gravid. We're gonna know, I think, more in the next week or two. It seems like she's coming up. She's not in blue yet, but like I said, the next week or two, it's just been such a weird. It's been such a weird thing with her because she hasn't eaten in 3 months. She locked up. It was the first lock I saw was January 17th with Nathan's mail, and they locked up again, or at least I saw them lock up again. And when in doubt, I've just kept that mail in there with her. But now the last couple of weeks, the mail's just going to the other side of the cage. She was actually towards the front of the cage. This is kind of the cool spot because it gets kind of cool down in my basement here. But leading up to quote unquote her breeding in December and leading up to that, she was in kind of the front of the cage. I think just because she was trying to cool down. But the last like 2 weeks, she's been in the hot spot in the back corner. So I'm hoping she's just gravid, and we're moving in the right direction with all that. But I mean, who the hell knows at this point? you know that's what happens when you're a noob, dude. You don't know what's going on. um and just trying to figure things out. But yeah, I was talking to Nathan. He came by, he palpated her, and he was fairly confident that she's got some eggs growing inside of her. So we'll see if that comes true. What's funny too is the other night, you know, because I work from home most of the week, but so I'm like firsthand watching her every single day, checking on her every day, trying to see, am I seeing a difference in body composition when it comes to, is she swollen, ovulating, cycling, whatever. And I mean, hopefully we hit on it. I mean, hopefully things happened and we're going in the right direction. But it's hard to know when you're like looking at your snake every day and trying to see what's going on. But I had a dream the other night. So I was talking to my wife. I was like, I had a dream the other night that she had a nice big clutch. So we will see. We will see. This has all just been blown up. I've kind of just been doing some light spot cleaning because I haven't wanted to bug her too much. But it's kind of gotten to the point where it's like the substrate's low, the urates are all over the place. We got shed blown up, and I kind of wanted to keep her scent in there so that the male, was able to get busy. But like I said, the last couple of weeks they've just been going to other sides of the cages, and I stay up late. I'm a night owl, so I noticed that even at night there was no action really happening. So I pulled him out, and anyway, that's just kind of been the update on the Coyote thing. Let me grab this garbage bag. So I want this clutch to happen so bad, just so we can get some momentum. But you know, we'll see. What's up? Who else is on here? I think I downloaded the wrong podcast again. Yeah, we're mixing it up, man. We're mixing it up. What's up, my dude? What's up, Rob? Chris? Yeah, definitely get him in there again. I'm gonna clean out the cage, and then I'm gonna get him back in here again. Um, Normally I use like just the shop vac, but then if I suck up every cage, especially when I'm doing a deep cleaning, I got to go through like a few different bags on the shop vac. So usually I'll just do like, I'll go by hand first, and then I'll scrub, and then whatever. But yeah, it's kind of an interesting time over here because, like I said, I'm a noob, and this is what happens when you're a noob. You live and you learn, and you're trying to freaking. It's so hard to tell sometimes. I swear. It's like, is she ovulating? Is she swollen? I, the one thing that Nathan brought up too, like the first time he tried palpating her, he was like, dude, she's just like tensing up. She won't even let me like really palpate her. And I was like, oh, is that even a thing? I don't know. And he's like, but I think it's going to sneak up on me if she is gravid. I got to get ready. So either way, I'm looking at putting together a incubator. I've got this little mini fridge. I don't know if you guys can see it. Let me see. I don't want to ruin my setup here. Anyway, no, I'll just leave it because it's gonna topple over. I've got this little mini fridge I haven't used. Then I might turn into the incubator over here, but still, it's pretty small and it's not really. It's not designed for those egg bins or whatever. So I could only probably fit maybe a clutch and a half in there. So I'm probably just gonna go the cooler method, honestly. Um, just so if I do hit on two clutches, I don't have to mess with another thing. But the fun thing about what we're doing is, I was talking to Nathan too. We've got this Kaiwati clutch that's going to be super high percent morph stuff. I mean, morph combo stuff, I should say. It's going to be what, 50% Kaiwati, and then it's like 30 something percent Kalatoa, and then a couple percentage points on like a little bit of sprinkling some jamp sauce on there. That's going to make all the difference. So, I think it's 85, 86% outcrossed morph stuff. I mean, that will make some really good pets for people, you know? And I've gotten a lot of DMs from people being like, hey, I just want like a platinum, or I want a yellow snake, but I don't have a huge budget, whatever. So I'm excited to be able to, I mean, hopefully if everything goes well, I'm hoping she also has a decent sized clutch, to be able to offer some good pet stuff for people. But then I've got these two psychos, these two females up here. I've got this pure super door from Daniel Solis, and then I've got my head OGS, 68.75% head OGS. So if either one of these go and these pairings happen, that will be my high end stuff for the year. So I'll have either, Tiger Platinum Het Hypo 50% Superdorf stuff, or I'll have potentially the highest percent Superdorf cows ever on this side. So we've got some high end stuff, and then like I said, if I hit on just one of these and then hit on these, like I will be over the moon. Like I'll be so stoked about that. But we'll see what happens. Um, yeah, definitely. So anyway, yeah, I'm gonna need a freaking like scraper at this point with some of this stuff, but this is the downside of the naturalistic enclosure piece. But that was the first time Nathan actually came down and saw my setups and stuff. So that was kind of fun. And I kind of told him, I was like, dude, I don't know. With my next enclosures, because I'm looking at getting some 6 footers, depending on how the season goes. If I don't produce anything this year, then I'll probably wait on the expansion piece. But if we produce, then obviously hatchling racks are going to come into play, and then looking at a couple holdbacks and stuff like that at least. So I'll probably want to upgrade some of these. So yeah, we'll figure it out. But let's try to soften some of this stuff up too. Gotta love the urates, dude. Just turns into cement on your enclosures. Then not to mention you throw in universal rock material, which is like rocks. It's gonna be a scrub brush thingamajig to get it off. I don't even know what I'm saying, but you get the point. I'm just trying to soften some of this stuff up, clean stuff up, spray everything down a little bit, let it air out. Yeah, just soften some of this stuff up, man. Get reorganized. Let me grab this too so you guys can see my. I think I've posted and talked about this substrate a bunch, but here we go. This is the substrate I use in all my enclosures so far. This is the original Reptile Prime, Brian Barczyk's product. I just, I've looked at the cocoa blocks, I've looked at aspen bedding, I've looked at paper briefly, but I'm working like on my computer and stuff all day in my snake room. So a big thing for me was just smell and being able to absorb some of that smell. And my snake room doesn't really stink. So I attribute a lot of that to this. Obviously, staying on top of cleaning helps too. But yeah, this stuff is kind of, I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of it's more fine, and there is a like super fine version of this, but that's like pretty much just dust. So I don't recommend it. But this stuff, man, it's not it's not cheap. So that's the one thing I will say about it. It's not cheap, because one of these will fill up my 4 footers, and I don't know what it comes out to be. It's pretty pricey. It's like 10, I don't know, 10, is it $10, $8 a bag or something? So it doesn't go super far, but I'm also not changing out the full substrate, you know, every month or every 2 months, even in a lot of cases, just depending on how bad it is. If you're feeding pigs, then yeah, you're going to want to change out substrate like quite a bit. But yeah, I mean, that's just kind of what I've seen with it is I don't think I'll ever use anything else. I mean, I'll probably use paper and paper. I mean, for hatchling racks, it's a little bit different because you want to make it a little bit more time efficient. But I mean, overall, I just like, once again, just not having any smells really. When I was feeding pigs, it was like, you see a little bit of urate here on the background and whatever. And obviously you have some urate like that stuck to here. But dude, when I was feeding pigs, it was just like the back splatter on this was just insane. It was like dark back splatter just across like the back of this. And I was like, dude, I got to stop feeding pigs because it was like a deep cleaning session every week. Um, so cypress mulch is what I used. I love it. Yeah, I mean, and shout out to people that just use paper. I mean, I think paper is definitely the most effective. It's the fastest. You just have to stay on top of it a lot more, and it's not forgiving when it comes to smell. Like, that's what I've seen with it. But hey, Addie, can you give me the scrub brush in the bathroom, please? So we'll see what happens. But I'm excited. I'm excited for this season, and it's been crazy because I thought my Coyote female was starting to cycle in like September, and so it's been just like 6 months of just the same, like just the roller coaster of emotions of, is she cycling? Is she not cycling? Like, she's acting funky, she's acting irritable, right? And everything like that. But um, you know, doing some scrubbing. Really need like I need like a scraper tool too, but I just use this. Yeah, some of this gets pretty gnarly. It's a good old urates, man. This, like I said, this stuff turns to like cement in your enclosures. Um, you guys haven't found that out already, but it's always a fun, process. Go through some of that. I actually need to get. I'm gonna grab a bucket. That's what I'm missing. I was like, what am I missing? Some hot water. Let this thing heat up. Yep. What are you guys all up to, man? You guys doing anything fun this week? There we go. This is a lot better. Much better. It's better. Good old scrub brush. Just use some paper towel, whatever. Yep, I can get a bunch of this junk off, but fresh cage, man. We want a fresh cage. That's for sure. Así es la vida. Any of you guys speak Spanish? Oh, Chris, man. Good old Wisconsin. Good old Wisconsin. That's what happens, man. I love Wisconsin. I love the people there. But those winters, whew, those winters are brutal in Wisconsin, man. See all that just urate, just it's like a powder. That's the hard thing about getting this out of the backgrounds. And then you got to like clean it a couple times because otherwise it'll like dry and there's still like a light white residue. So, like I said, I'm still going to advocate for naturalistic because I think for like especially your show enclosures of the people like for people to come over and like see stuff, I think it's dope. And I think there is an enrichment element for the snakes, especially when they're shedding and stuff, and to perch up and all that. I do believe in that because I mean they all use these ledges that we've put in 100%. Like I'm catching them. I'm catching them on the ledges typically more often than not. Just depends on the animal, but I'm gonna do a sweep here. But yeah, Universal Rocks. They just actually went viral. I don't know if you guys saw. Universal Rocks went viral for the sand or the rock crawlers, like those RC remote control cars, for like the miniature rock crawling vehicles or whatever you want to call them, but for kids. And they just basically took this backdrop and are selling them in like mats almost for those kids. It's pretty dope. But I was like, good for them breaking into stuff outside of the reptile world or the zoo world or whatever. But yeah, they just went crazy viral on the RC crawlings in the RC crawling scene. I guess that's a big scene too. Like there's a lot of people into that stuff, which is really fun. So yeah, this is all just freaking. This will look good once it's scrubbed down and it's all dried out and whatever. But got to get there. Got to get there first. Then I'll come in here with the the dry vac or whatever after and kind of get everything out. But try to keep things as clean as possible. You know, try to be as transparent as possible too. I even told Nathan, I was like, dude, you see my enclosures today. That's probably the worst that they're going to be because they're pretty bad. I mean, yeah. I mean, especially this one's pretty bad just because I've tried to leave her alone as much as possible, not get her riled up. If she's breeding or gravid or whatever. But still, I don't like. I can't stand dirty cages. Drives me nuts. I've got some of that ADD, ADHD, whatever. There's certain things that I can like be okay with. I could have clean clothes like sitting on a couch for a minute. But when it comes to my cages, sometimes I'm just like anal about it. All right. Let me catch up on here. Putting snakes on paper just sounds weird to me. Yeah. Got some rabbits thawing from Ryan. Conky. So we're gonna see if my big girl can handle them for the first time. I'm waiting for Ryan. Ryan, I'm supposed to be getting a shipment from him this week. I'm actually helping him out with the shipping stuff. Monitoring the new retics, ball python, hognose I got. Also blew a brake line. I'm like, oh, that's not fun. That sounds like an expensive weekend, Rob. Or was not Rob? Was that Noah? I meant Noah. This was the worst I've seen. 24-hour decline. Yeah, weather, man, the weather and everything else. But yeah, no, that's an expensive few days, man. A bunch of those pickups, and then you blow a brake line. That's not fun, but that is life, man. Unexpected expenses is my forte. I swear. Especially when you have 5 kids, it just never ends, dude. It never it never ends. But you know, I was talking to Nathan actually too. Unfortunately, I think he's got his cat's going through it right now. He's got a pretty big vet bill that he's having to take care of. That's not fun. You know, it's not fun when your animal's sick or it's got some stuff going on. It's also not fun to have a giant bill at the end of that. But you know, you got to do what you got to do, man. Save your pets and care for them. But yeah, I need that shipment of rabbits. I need to text Ryan again today and be like, dude, my freezer is empty. I need rabbits like ASAP. Because I reached out to Dez over at Cold Blooded, and man, they're like out. They're like out of a lot of stuff. And I've been buying pretty much exclusively from Dez for a long time, just because she gets back to me quick. And I was helping her with some other business stuff too. But that's I've always tried to support her, because she's basically running that place, or was for a long time by herself. So anyway, like, and then I reach out to Weston over at Wildfire because he only lives like 20 minutes from my house, and I was like, dude, where do you get your rabbits from? And I guess he's got a breeder hookup somewhere here in Utah, but the problem is he buys them out of pretty much everything they have. So, which makes sense. He's got, I don't know how many snakes he has. Definitely doesn't have as much as he used to, but I know he has quite a bit. So I don't know. I'm trying to find. I tried to reach out to Richard Bilbo, but he's left me on red like a couple different times. So I don't know. Maybe he doesn't like me, and that's okay. I can I can live with that. Not everyone's gonna like you, but I'm like, dude, like, I've got some of your descendants in my collection. I would love to chat or connect, but once again, it's like, I don't know. You speak up about stuff and people get upset, and it's like, all right, it is what it is. But yeah, so I'm trying to see if I'm missing any spots here, dude. Yeah, there's always like just a little bit of freaking spots on stuff. Yeah, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I'm going to replicate and kind of do this the same way I did last time. Good spray down everywhere helps too. I like to disinfect and just, you know, prevent mold or anything else that's coming. Um, Spree, I have extra line in the toolbox. Oh, nice. Okay, well then you're good. I wouldn't have been good. Um, I would not have been good. That's one thing where I just feel totally just subpar in is fixing cars. Unfortunately, I wish I mean, I know how to change a tire and do some whatever, not die on the road. But other than that, I'm pretty hopeless when it comes to fixing my own cars. But yeah, I mean, it's a crazy world we're living in. You know, times are changing, and it'll be interesting to see what happens the next 6 months. It's getting nutty out there. Have you guys seen gas prices? I mean, I don't know if you guys have been like hit with that yet, but from my understanding, gas prices are creeping up again. I've got some friends in California that say it's gonna get pretty nutty again, which makes sense. So um, everything that's going on in the world makes sense, but I would prefer I would prefer not to be involved in the chaos and craziness, but it seems like we're that's just the world we're living in nowadays. It's like just prefer to be left alone. I think most Americans would, but everything is just everything is just fake and gay, you know? That's just that's where we're at. Oh, we're $4 a gallon, Rob. Yeah. And unfortunately, I think that's just the beginning. You got the boomers on Facebook freaking out saying it's going to get to like $20 a gallon. So it will be it will be crazy to say the least. But yeah, my dude, my allergies out here the last like you probably can hear it, like have been atrocious. I'm talking sneezing 20 times in a row. You know, I'm pounding Claritin, Allegra, whatever they want to call it. And it's like Utah is just a dust bowl right now. Utah, we have had no precipitation pretty much all winter. And so what's happening is all the pollen, all the stuff that's starting to come through for spring is just getting blown around in the air. I mean, you can't escape it. So I lived in California. I lived in Santa Rosa, Northern California, for a couple years, and that's like the pollen capital of the U.S. I think, or maybe even the world. It's crazy. You'll go outside and your whole car is just covered with pollen. And leading up to that, that's when I was like 19 and 20. Leading up to that, I never had allergies in my life, and then I lived out there a couple years, and man, it was 2 or 3 months of just brutal allergies. And I just remember the first year I was out there, I was taking this medication that I just picked up at Walgreens. And I was taking drowsy allergy medication for like 6 weeks. And I had no idea why. I was just like so exhausted every day. So make sure you're not taking the drowsy allergy meds, dude, because it will mess you up. It will make you tired. So yeah, I mean, I've tried to help, mitigate it, and they say like, hey, there's these holistic ways, or eat. That was the other funny thing. People kept telling me like, well, eat honey, eat more wild honey, and it will help. And I love honey. I eat it fairly frequently. We eat a lot of local honey and stuff like that where I live out here, and it doesn't do a damn thing, dude. So so I'm like, I'll keep eating my honey because I love it, but to say it's going to get rid of my allergies, like I have not seen an impact on that. So let me see. I mean, we're looking pretty good on this one so far. I want to get the shop back in here and just get all the extra. Give me a second. Ba-da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da. Okay. Is this plugged in? No? Come on. Come on. Shelly. All right. Microdose local bee pollen. um, yeah. I'm gonna need some more of that because it's been brutal. There we go. Clean this thing up. Eli. Shed everywhere. Freaking. All these crumbs everywhere, dude. All right. Where are we at? Local helps. Neti pot works, but use. Yeah, dude. The neti pot saved me when I was in California. It took me a while to understand how to utilize all that, but the neti without the neti pot, dude, I would have been incapacitated. That's how bad it was. Well, and it's not fun when you're sneezing 100 times a day either. It's just non-stop, you know. Um, I think some of this is actually. Let me double check. I think some of this is actually. This is not all. This is not urate. Some of this is silicone. Now that I think about it, just double check. Do one last scrub, but um, this is actually looking a lot better already. Just want to make sure. Yeah, 4 years technically in April since we launched Coiled. So we're coming up on our 4 year anniversary. I had purchased my snakes in January of 2022, and then I was involved. Was it 2020? Yeah, 2022. But I mean, I was pretty heavily involved with Reach Out and um, the community since probably 2019, 2018, 2019. I was starting to watch videos, Garrett's videos in like 2018. So, because my big thing is I was renting a house at the time. This is 20. This is 2020 or 2018 to 2021, and then I bought my house in 2021. And my wife wanted to do because my wife wanted to renovate our house when we bought it because it was like built in 2003, and the people before us were landlords, and so we had a bunch of. I mean, I think they were drug addicts, honestly, that were the tenants before us moving in. So we moved in. The house was a nightmare, but interest rates were low. It was like 2.9%, and the purchase price was pretty low for the area. So we looked at it. We're like, okay, we're gonna buy it. We're gonna put a decent chunk of money into it, but then we can kind of redesign and do some things that we wanted to do. But the caveat with all that was, hey, we buy the house, we renovate, then I get to get my snakes. So that was the deal between my wife and I, and it worked out. So I think it took us about 4 months. We did most of the demo work. We had a GC that we hired for some of the aesthetics and some of the like finishing work and all that kind of stuff. But we did all the demo work. We The flooring was so bad. They literally between the baseboards and the flooring there was like a inch to inch and a half gap because the tenants before had bought some new flooring and literally just cut it out and laid it down. Like that's how bad it was. So um anyway, so that was the deal with my wife and I is we're gonna renovate the house, we're gonna buy the house, but then I gotta get my snakes. So it took a while, but we made it happen. And then now it's like 4 years later, all this is silicone actually now that Now that I think about it, it's not wanting to budge, but um, so it's been a fun journey. I was actually thinking about it. I was like, man, I can't believe it's already been close to 4 years, and my time just flies by, man. Enjoy it, especially with kids. It's like kids, they grow up so fast. My oldest is 8.5, and it's like, holy cow, man. He's almost he's almost as tall as me. He's gonna be massive. I'm 6'2". He's probably gonna be, that's exaggeration. He's not as tall as me, but all the other kids thinks he's like 10 or 11. He'll probably be 6'4", 6'5". I hope he is. Be a better basketball player than I am. But anyway, we're getting close on this one. Kind of want to just let it air dry. Double check. Actually, back here, there's a couple more spots I want to scrub. I just kind of get anal about it. So I just like it to look really good too. It's like look really clean. Look clean, smell clean, be clean. You know what I mean? That was the other thing. So this one guy was reaching out to me, because he just got bamboozled by a, a bigger breeder. I won't say his name because I don't need more. I don't need more targets on my back right now. Um, but he reached out to me. He's like, "Hey, how do you know? Like, how do I know a good breeder from a bad one? Or what are some red flags?" And I'm like, "Well, you know, not that everybody else's opinion necessarily matters, but you know, go ask 5 breeders that are well known that have been breeding a long time in our space, what their thoughts are on that said individual, but then also see how transparent they're willing to be with you, right? If they're not willing to show the setups of all their breeder adults and hatchlings and everything else, that's probably a red flag, right? Um, you know, like I said, some reputable or some people that have been around for 15, 20 years, ask them their thoughts too. Because, I think we operate in this community that is really niche, number one, but number two, it's like you should be able to get a good, or niche, but then also, what am I trying to say? People come and go all the time, right? So it's like flash in the pan. Like people get in, so they hear that there's a bunch of money to be made, right? And then they're out because they're like, oh shoot, this is a little bit harder, or this is going to take longer than I originally thought. Or it's like, hey, if I drop 15K on this project or 10 grand on this project, everything's just going to work out. I'm going to make my money back plus some next year, or this breeding season. And it doesn't necessarily work out that way. The market changes. People are interested in different projects at different times. And so you really just gotta, that's silicone. You really just gotta depend on yourself and focus on stuff that you want to see through. And that's really the difference too. If you look at, Eric Lee, if you look at Rodney, if you look at, Joe Hall, Jen over at Mod Exotics, Andrew Acevedo. Like you look at some of these people that have been in the space, and a lot of them have been doing this a long time, yes, but also the animals they're producing have taken years and years and years of work to get to what they're trying to sell today, right? And it's intentional breeding. It's not just, hey, flash in the pan, I'm hopping in to hop out, to 2x my money. It's no, we're in this for the long haul. We want to make better looking stuff. That's why we're here, like we're not here to just mess around and hop in and hop out. We're in this for the long haul. And so, you just got to ask yourself, like, who are you wanting to support? Those kind of people, or the people that might have something flashy today, right? But it's in the long run, are you wanting to buy into that hype too? That's just something you got to ask yourself too. Like, you look at some of these different morphs that have come out within a year or two. I wouldn't say saturated, but there's a lot of people working with it. There's a lot of availability. Prices come down, and in order to sustain that morph, that locale, whatever it is, it's like you have to get creative, and you have to look at it from a 5, 10, 15 year window instead of a 1 year window or a 3 year window, right? So I'm just going to do one last. This is looking pretty good, y'all. I'll probably do a little spray down, and then we'll get. Once again, guys, just for the haters, this is silicone. This is not urates. So people are like, "He didn't clean it." It's like, yeah, no, it's clean. So let me double check this. Actually, this tape and everything on the heat pads, because that's what I use. I use the heat pads. I don't use panels. Do you guys use heat pads or panels? Drop in the comments. Heat pads, panels, thoughts, opinions on that. I'll give my thoughts or opinions in a second, but curious what you guys are using. I'll show you how this looks with the substrate in here. I mean, it looks really nice. And that's another reason it just goes well with the aesthetic. So this is one bag, 4 foot enclosure, 22 inches high, 30 inches deep. And I think for smaller locality stuff, for a certain amount of years, this is a good size enclosure. Like I said, I'm going to be upgrading a lot of my females that I'm planning on keeping for the long haul, especially. I'm going to be upgrading them all to 6 footers pretty soon. So yeah, this it depends on the bag, and I know sometimes with different substrates it can be a little bit different, but you know this can sometimes clunk up. What am I trying to say? Clump up, not clunk up. Clump up. So I just try to move this around a little bit, try to level it out. And like I said, for urine, urates, poop, like they love to burrow in this stuff too, so that's always kind of fun. Um, it is a little bit dusty, um, but it's not crazy. Never had any issues. The other thing too is I've never had any, fingers crossed, knock on wood, I've never had any impaction problems with any of my retics. I know for some hatchlings and some smaller retics, people have had issues. And I think that's more directed towards some of the cocoa block stuff, which makes sense. I mean, that's like cocoa. What is that? Cocoa? Is that cocoa shell or husk or whatever it is, like chopped? Um, Sometimes you'll get these little like pieces, random pieces too in here that I like to just pick out. But yeah, so I mean, aesthetically though, when you're looking at this, the lights, LED lights, and all that, like I like to kind of keep it thinner over the hot spot, just so she can get as close to that heat as she wants. But then everywhere else, it's like really try to make this look good. So, but yeah, no impaction issues. The one thing I did do just to be safe with a lot of my hatchlings when I bought them was same substrate. I kept the same substrate. I just whenever I'd feed them, like they'd strike, they'd wrap, whatever it was, a mouse, whatever. I would just throw a piece of cardboard under them as they were eating, just to make sure that they didn't ingest anything. But my snakes have ingested a lot of this product, like over the years and stuff like that, and they've never had an issue passing it. Um, they're pretty hardy animals. Not that you're wanting to stress them out or do anything, but it's always funny to me when people are like, it has to be this one way, and this is the only way to keep retics. And it's like, dude, do you realize what kind of drinking water they're drinking in the wild? Do you realize what kind of substrate you know, they're moving through in the wild? Like they're just moving through, you know, stagnant water and feces and other dead animal. I mean, there's just like, it's just crazy to me. Um, so you want to keep your husbandry up, yes. You want to keep your animals clean, yes. But at the end of the day, it's like these are really hardy animals, and they're not gonna pass away if there's a piece of urate on the wall that's stuck there or something like that. You don't scrape it off in 30 minutes. So, um, but yeah, not too bad, not too shabby. It cleaned up nice. So, now I got to do the glass, and then actually, I'm going to go run and do the water bowl here. Um, oh, here we go. Let me respond to this first. RHPs, I love your cages setups. Really nice on the rock and stuff. Thank you, Derek. All heat panels over here. I love them. The only thing I don't like is making sure the snakes can't mess with the wiring. Yeah, I agree. Depends on closure. Thinner PVC pads in my vision. RHP. Yeah, I mean, I looked into it. I mean, I even have, I don't know if you can see, there's a bracket up there to install panels. I just opted out from doing that for a couple different reasons. Um, Number one, I'm stacking all my enclosures, so there's already kind of a gradient, if you will, with some of the different temperatures. I'm in my basement, where it's a little bit cooler, so I kind of got industrial grade heat pads to put between each one of them, and then what I did is I put the heat pads on the same side from top to bottom, and then I put them basically in the middle. So back end on this side, back end on that side, back end over here. So the heat is all coming kind of from one place. And then there's a gradient as they kind of stretch out, or, they coil up over here or near the glass or something like that. So I haven't had any issues. Um, the one thing I will say is they definitely can get hot. Like the heat pads can definitely get hot. And my office doesn't really have, it's got like one vent, like AC coming in, but because I blocked off my window, because I didn't want the sun coming in through the basement window and like messing up all my temperatures and all that kind of stuff, I kind of blocked everything off. So it can get pretty warm in my office when everything's closed. So I try to keep the door open at night, so it kind of chills the room, and then they can do what they want to do. And that's kind of how I've set things up, and it's worked great. Like I really enjoy it. I don't have to worry about them, burning themselves on the panels. Wiring really isn't an issue. Um, it just, you know, I kind of had to set it up permanently for my setup or my situation, and luckily it worked out. But it was stressful, definitely trying to get everything kind of dialed in first and whatever. So let me go. I'm gonna go grab. I'm gonna go grab this water bowl from Universal Rocks. Let me. Oh, get all right. These water bowls have been great too. I mean, I really like these water bowls a lot, actually. So I'll usually just come in here, and for whatever reason, I don't. It's probably my water, my tap water. Um, but there's some color problems. This one's got a little bit of purple and blue in it now. It's just been years of tap. So, um, but yeah, these water bowls are great. They hold a ton of water. My animals, even when they were little, I never had any soakers. Have you guys had any animals that just love to soak? I never had any of that. The other thing is, knock on wood, I've never had any mite problems either. Thank goodness. So no issues with that. I know that can become an issue. And usually, what I'll do too with the substrate, just so you guys know, is I'll usually throw these bags in the freezer for like 3 days just to make sure if there is any kind of weird bugs or anything that comes in them, that stuff gets killed off. But no, I mean I've been very happy with these setups and just making sure that stuff stays as clean as possible, and you know the snakes seem to love it. So let me see what else. I got these windows now. Let's see. No, it says vision with the RSP. I have the enclosure next to a sliding door to the outside. No temp swing with temp drops outside. I love that combo. Wish the enclosures was just taller. It's 18 inches. Yeah, 18 inches are tough. I mean, nothing against 18-inch enclosures, but the extra, what is it, 4 inches on these make a world of difference. I am kind of battling though because I'm running on limited space, even with taking over half this other room in the basement. Um, Eventually, I am probably going to do, depending on how many I can stack, because I want to do 6 foot jungle cages, and I'd like to fit five. So I don't know if I'll be able to get there. I might have to go. I'll probably have to drop down. What is that? I'll probably have to drop down to 18 inches on those 6 footers, which I don't know. I don't know if I want to do that, or maybe I'll just do four, just like this setup, 4 6 footers with the same similar dimensions to them. But I just know some of my females are going to get decent size and big. There's some of these that are I'm going to keep for a long, long time. Like my pure Coyote, I'm going to keep. Um, Most likely that head OGS female, that's 68.75% super dwarf. There's just so many different things I could do with her long term. I don't know about this Daniel Solis female. She, in my opinion, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, she's fine. She's just a little defensive, but right now, I think just with her starting to ovulate her cycle, she's kind of turning into a psycho. So I'd want her to go to somebody with a little bit more experience, but she's great. I mean, I've fed her like crazy, and she's probably 6.5 feet, maybe 7 feet, maybe. She's small, and I've fed her pigs, and I have fed her large, large meals, and she just kind of refuses to grow. So there's good genetics in that one. So I might keep her. And I just sold, well, I did sell my F1 lab line Calotilla to somebody here in Utah. I didn't really want to sell her, to be honest. She looks really good. Let me see if I can tilt the camera down a little bit. She's down here. She looks really good. I mean, I love her pattern. I've had her for 4 years, so it's like one of those things where I don't really want to let her go. But on the flip side of it, I got to make some decisions, for the future, and just to make sure it's kind of a good practice run for me in terms of selling one of my animals that I've had, because it is tough. She's awesome. I mean, I've worked with her a ton, and she's going to make a great pet for her new owner. I think he is going to try to breed her too. So anyway, there's just a lot of different things going on, but I'm just excited about once again the future and everything that we're working on and where kind of the market is going, where people's heads are at, and it should be a really interesting 24 months. I think the next two, this breeding season, next breeding season, are going to be really really cool. So none of my snakes like to soak in their bowls. Yeah, like I said, I mean, I provide, there's a ton of water in here, and they'll drink it up, especially my adult females. But one ball python, one mainland, and will randomly soak for hours once in a while. Interesting. Yeah, yeah. Even when they're in shed. Yeah, even letting go at babies that produce was harder than I thought. Well, have you guys seen Brian Carlson's updates with like his son? He picked like a number, lucky number 7, I think it was, out of the clutch of eggs that he's just going to keep. Like, I thought that was a really cool idea, but just just with what we're potentially producing and the amount of snakes we were producing and stuff like that, if the Coyote goes, I can see her having a big clutch. I'm probably gonna wait until those eggs hatch out for my kids to pick one or pick a holdback or something from that. But I can only imagine, Chris. Like, yeah, once you have babies and you get them eaten and get them going, like it's got to be tough to let them go, especially the ones that you're like, hey, these are definitely like cream of the crop when it comes to you know, borderline holdbacks, and you're like, well, I can't keep them all. We can't keep them all, right, Chris? So it is, it is going to be a cool next year or two. And I've kind of come to terms with if my females don't go, they don't go this year, and that just makes next year more interesting and probably better in terms of not just in terms of the pairings, but in terms of potential quantity, size of the clutches, and everything like that. And so I've come to terms with it. But like I said, if I can get two clutches this year, this Coyote clutch and one of the other ones to go, man, that would just be so sick. Be so fun. Um, I really want those cows, man. I really want those cows. The head hypo stuff will be great because we have some codoms in there. We got tiger, we got platinum, so those will be fun, and those will be fun for the future for people to pick up in pairs or whatever. Then you get a little bit of variety with it, which will be fun. But I don't know, man. I don't know. It's what happens when you're a noob on the breeder front. That's right there, picking out the holdbacks and letting close ones go. Yeah, dude. Oops, I don't want to end yet. We're not done yet. Um, yeah, sorry for all the sniffling. It's been a crazy last week. I've lost my voice. Like I told you guys, I got these crazy allergies right now. Um, I think Rob pointed this out. Do you guys notice when your males get into breeder mode, like they they swell up like towards their vents, stuff like that? I thought that was really interesting and cool because I had never seen my Coyote male. I had seen he had dropped sperm plugs like a year or two ago, but I'm not breeding him this year. But I hadn't really noticed that. And the two males that I have on loan, the Super Phantom and the Crazy Morph combo from Nathan, both of those males are nice and plump down there, dude. So that is one thing that I have noticed, some significant swelling there. So that just gives me hopes that once again things are headed in the right direction. Not necessarily that things are on track how we want them, but at least at some point, this girl has been cycling or getting ready. So yeah, fresh glass, fresh substrate, fresh backgrounds, clean all this gunk out. Um, make sure. Yeah, Nathan thinks she's gravid. I don't. I'm not sure, but I really hope she is. I think she's coming up on a shed too, because we both noticed a couple different things with her today. So my guess is the next the next 10 days we're gonna know. We're gonna know for sure, and not any more of this putzing around. But I don't know. What do you guys think? There's some instances, and I don't know if it's just because I want to see it, but dude, I swear that she's lumpy. She's lumpy. And even with all of her mood swings with cycling and breeding, I don't want to jinx myself, but dude, she'll throw coils and stuff at me, but she has never struck at me once. This snake right here. Here, I'm going to let her go. But I mean, she just feels taut. I don't know how else to describe it. She is just taut and heavy, and she has not eaten close to almost 3 months. Um, so I don't know. I really don't know, but yeah, she looks good. We just need that 6 foot enclosure at some point, sooner rather than later, because I want to see her grow, continue to grow. Yeah, I can see that whole vax and letting them go will be tough. I do a lot of crusty geckos, chahua, lychees. I want to keep them all. Oh man. Hey, sweetie. All right. All right. Leave you alone. Relax. Air this out a little bit. But yeah, it looks good. Let me see if I can get a little bit closer. Show you guys what we're dealing with. Yeah, there we go. Background looks good. Yeah, she'll just perch up there. He loves that ledge. So it's a good time, man. So yeah, she's by far my she's one of the favorites around here. That purple snow I have from Justin Lathrop is definitely a fan favorite too. Um, but yeah, I still want to air this out a little bit for her, just because I like to let stuff dry. It doesn't get all fogged up. I did have to drill more ventilation in a lot of these enclosures, because that's the one thing is like it is literally like putting straight like sheetrock up, you know. So making sure you got enough ventilation with the naturalistic is super, super important. Otherwise, it's just going to get super condensed and super foggy and moldy and gross. So that's not what you want. But who should we do next? Let me see. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to show this girl off. Let's pivot. Yeah. Let's see. All right. The other thing I need to look at too is getting some don't sneak up on me. Getting some bigger hides too, because I had to pick up one. She just outgrew her hide, and I used to have this giant tree stump from Universal Rocks in there, and it would fill up, like it would almost go to the top of the cage, and the roots, the artificial roots would like spread out. So it's like this huge piece. And I still have it. It's awesome looking. The only problem with that is it's like it's like a how do you call it? Not a foundation. It's called like a anchor. It would act like an anchor. She would wrap it, and I literally could not get her out. It was just a nightmare. So I was like, I'm not doing the tree stump anymore, dude. But I still want you to have a hide. And then you know, she needs even a bigger hide than what she has right now. So, I mean, she's just grown. Some of my females have just grown so much in the last like 3 months. It's been crazy. Like just getting thick, which is good. That's what we want, right? But just getting thick and um, hopefully getting ready for breeding season. Come here, girl. This is Karma. Hey, Karma, come here. This is our visual. This is our visual Anery. She's pos het purple. I want to prove her out. Hopefully next season. Come here. All right. Yeah, hopefully next season. She's been growing quite a bit. So this is Karma. Visual Anery. She's got Madhu, Kalatoa, Jamp. She's like 90, she's 89% super dwarf, and she's like 4% dwarf, I think. Yeah, so she's like 93% outcrossed. But I love the back third, like her pattern here almost looks kind of tigerish a little bit. But she's always been she's really chill too. She used to, when I used to hold her as a hatchling, she used to just duck her head. Like she'd coil up in my hand and just duck her head in. She's just kind of a scaredy cat, but honestly, she's been awesome. So I was debating whether to let the lab line Kalatoa go from Lucas's bloodline or this girl, and I decided to keep this girl. So plus I want to work with purple stuff. I've got that purple snow female. I'm thinking to, hopefully she proves out. I think she will. She's from, I think, the white diamond line stuff. But yeah, she's actually looking really good right now on camera with the lighting and stuff. I really like her pattern a lot. But yeah, she just turned 4 last month. And I will say this, and I've said this a few times before on lives and stuff, but um I think some of my females, honestly, and it's not because I have quote unquote underfed them, but I feel like with the protocol I had a lot of them on, especially in those first like 2 years, 2.5 years, they should be bigger than they are. I'll just say that. And once again, it wasn't because I was trying to keep them small. If anything, I was like, well, I'm feeding them this way. They're going to breed it at 5 to 7 years old. Right. So that's the one thing I will say is I think a lot of these females now that I kind of understand a little bit more about how I want to do things and how I want to feed should be able to put on the size over the next, 10 months or so to hopefully have their first clutch. Because my super dwarf, my purple snow female, I mean, she has just exploded with size in a good way. It's not like I've been feeding her more than some of these other females, actually. She's just wanted to grow. So I'm going to put you in the bath. Come here. You're all right. Okay. Okay. And I don't think, because I'm talking too much, I don't think I'm going to be able to. There's no way I'm going to be able to live stream cleaning 6 cages because it took me an hour to clean one. So I'm going to be here all night. But um, I've got some different things to show you guys in here, which is kind of cool. So at Universal Rocks, you can pick up some of these like stumps, and this was like an example. This is a small version of the one I was telling you guys about. But what I found is a lot of the retics, they love digging under, like with the substrate, they love digging under here and just finding their own hides. So I try to provide them a couple different spots most of the time, especially some of the smaller ones. Like I said, I got to upgrade some of my hide stuff to where it's not taking over half the enclosure, but it's still big enough to where some of these females can fit. And that's really where the expansion comes in too, of just getting them upgraded enclosures. So we got somebody, we got somebody from Asia that just popped on. I don't know who that is, but welcome to the live. I just picked up a Sean McMillan Pure Super Dwarf for doing morph crosses as well. Yeah, they're great, man. I mean, you cannot go wrong with pure Super Dwarf stuff. Um, stuff that's just going to stay. Once again, got to be careful. Relatively small, right? I mean, and that's what people also don't understand. Like I've had some friends that, yeah, all this substrate's got to go. But I had some friends that I did this, my friend's kid's birthday party, and I brought a couple of my smaller females, and it was a blast. They had a great time or whatever. And I was explaining to them that, yeah, these animals can still get, 8 to 12 feet, right? It's going to take them some time to get there. But once again, with a healthy feeding schedule, it's not like the mainland stuff. That's the other thing, is like the rate of growth is different. Yeah, they're going to still probably get up to, and that's what I think people miss too with like the whole debate on size, is the rate of growth is significantly different, in my opinion, right? Where you could feed a mainland, like you could take a mainland male and a mainland super dwarf and feed it. I think you can feed it similar size meals, if not the same size meals, and the rate of growth on the mainland is going to be significantly higher than than the super dwarf. But anyway, back to my point about talking to my friends about super dwarfs. I was like, listen, number one, the girth or the thickness is going to be, I think, completely different on a lot of these animals that I have versus mainland stuff. And the rate of growth is different. So if it takes, let's say they get up to 10 feet, right? You have females that get up to 10 feet as super dwarfs, and it takes them 5, 6 years. Maybe it's sooner, maybe it's 7, 8 years, maybe it's 9 years. But it's like the rate of growth is, you can grow with that snake, right? Like you can work with that snake. And I think that's what people miss a lot of times when we're in these like heated debates. It's just different, because I've got that mainland hypo, and it's like if I look at that guy, look in his direction, he grows. Yeah. I don't have to do anything to that male and he grows. Like he wants to grow. He wants to get big. So, that's the key there. That's the difference. Um so anyway, I try explaining that in the best way I possibly can to anybody that comes over, and they're like, well, 10, 11, 12 feet is still a massive snake. And I was like, yeah, for the normie or the person that's only seen a garter snake in their life, of course, yeah, it's a big snake. But if it starts off as a garter snake size when you get it, and it takes 6 years for you to get to 10 feet, then it's not as big of an issue, like, and I think that's a point that people miss, but that's never going away. That debate's never going away. And, I think the big thing is just utilizing that as a sales technique or a marketing campaign. That's the problem that most people have, because then it's like, what? So then you go get the truth from a breeder that wants to be honest and have integrity, and they tell you something you don't want to hear, and so they go back to the previous breeder, and it's like, well, you're telling me that's going to be your stuff's going to be this much smaller, so I guess I'm buying from you. And it's like, it's not how it works, dude. But anyway, yeah, I'm just getting this first. first layer of substrate out. What I really tried to do with these enclosures too is just make every enclosure unique and different. So like the setups, the layouts, outside of the heat pads being in the same spot on the right side and the same spot on the left side, just like for my own sanity, like mix it up and make them super unique. And so every enclosure is different, and that's kind of what makes it fun. And I was even thinking about with those 6 foot enclosures, if I pick some of those up, how could I how could I do this easier? I know I could do it faster and easier because I've done these already, but is there a way to streamline it a little bit more to where it's not so much work? Because it is a ton of work. I mean, I think I said it in my video. It was, I don't know what I said, 10 hours, 15 hours is a cage. It's probably more than that. Times 8 cages. I mean, it took me a good 2 months to get everything set up how I wanted. And I had a baby like 2/3 the way through that process. So 10 feet might be small to working with these, but to someone with little no, yeah, it is. It's true. Oh, it's just 10 feet, guys. 10 feet's not that big. You're wrong. It is. That's a healthy, decent sized snake that can, if you don't, and that's the other thing, if you don't work with it, that's the other problem people don't understand is like I was even telling my friends at this party, they're like, well, what if we wanted to get one and how much you selling them for and blah blah blah. And I was like, well, first off, I don't have anything available right now. I might, you know, in 6 months or something. Could be sooner, but maybe 6 months. And I was like, the other thing is too, is like you can't buy one of these animals. I don't, number one, I want them going to good homes. But number two, if you want a really nice pet snake, you got to work with it. Like with my Coyote female, honestly, a big reason why I think she's my favorite is because I've worked with her so much one on one, and she's in the enclosure by my desk, so I see her the most. I don't know. It's like this weird thing where like she's in a certain spot in my room. She's accessible, so I pull her out a bunch. She's got, she's the largest of my snakes, so it's like fun to take her out and see how big she's getting. So there's like a lot of things there, but the two females up here that are usually more defensive or whatever. I mean, I got them from Reach Out, the head OGS. She was almost 2, I think, year and a half, 2. I'm almost positive she was barely worked with, outside of being fed. Like that's just how it is, which is fine. But she wasn't worked with. And then the Daniel Solis female, she was about 2 when I got her, as well. Same thing. Like I even asked Daniel straight up. I was like, dude, have you ever worked with, like, how is she? What's her temperament like? And he's like, well, I don't handle any of my animals unless I'm feeding them. And I'm like, okay. So, but I wanted a female that was closer to breeding size and age. So that's why I bought her, and then she hasn't wanted to grow. And I've really tried feeding her to gaining size on her. And she just, like I said, she doesn't want to grow too much. So anyway, that's just been my observation is you gotta be able to work with these animals. You can't just like feed them and clean and expect them to be like these really good ambassador snakes. Like I think you can get away with that with Burmese, right? Like Burmese pythons, I mean, typically are just kind of puppy dogs. And I've always kind of wanted one, to be honest, because I went to I lived in Florida for a while. I went to Gatorland a bunch and all that kind of good stuff. And they always have some really nice big albino Burmese pythons that you take pictures with. And I just remember holding one and I was like, this is so sick. Um, so I do love Burmese pythons. I just know that they're kind of, I don't know. Some people maybe think that they're duds or whatever. They just kind of sit there and, but I don't know. Maybe one day I'll have a Burmese, but like I said, just having the really really big stuff is just not something I'm super keen on or really want, to be honest. Um, I don't know, just not my cup of tea. But um, yeah, I mean the other thing too is Weston lives about. I need to go see Weston. I need to go see his facility. I really don't have an excuse anymore, just because his warehouse is literally like 2 minutes, 5 minutes from where I go to the gym, and he lives probably 15 minutes from my house now. He used to live in Park City, which was up near Salt Lake, which is like an hour and a half away, or just under an hour and a half away from me. But anyway, we'll figure it out. Um, so yeah, this is the process, guys. I think I'm going to let you guys go just because I want to get this stuff done and stop talking so much, and actually like get some of this stuff done. But I appreciate you guys. Thanks for rocking with me, and hopefully you guys got some good updates from me over here. Good insight to kind of my protocol with cleaning, and I'm gonna get the rest of these cleaned up, and then let's just hope and pray I have some really good updates in the next like 10 days for that for my Coyote female. Like I pray that she's gravid at this point. So anyway, enjoy your guys' night. Much love. Thanks, Coiled Crew, and yeah, shoot me a DM on IG if you guys want to chat more. Got questions? I'm usually always available to at least shoot an audio message back when I check my phone and stuff. So, anyway, spring cleaning 2026 is underway. Good luck with everything you guys got going on. Have a great week, guys, and we'll chat soon.